patients who are in need of bone marrow transplants.
Patients who are white Northern European have about a 90% chance of finding a match. But this falls to just 40% for patients from ethnic minority backgrounds. Today we'll be looking at how you can change these statistics. That's right, you at home. So joining us in the studio, we have Asif Noorani and Ricky Cheema. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. That's quite a shocking statistic when we look at the beginning, isn't it? If you're white Northern European, you've got a 90% chance. If you're Asian, only a 40% chance of a match.
Well, you've really captured there the reason we've got this big campaign going on out there. It's this imbalance, and it is quite a shocking imbalance when you hear about it, because, you know, God forbid you are diagnosed with a blood cancer such as leukemia. If you are a white Northern European, you look out there at the world and there is that 90% chance. However, if you're like anyone else on this sofa, there's a 40% chance, and the only way we can change that is by spitting and having that identified and being registered as a potential donor. And it's not like every single donor is going to find a match in a patient. It's simply putting ourselves out there for the possibility. And, I mean, when people do it, you're obviously saving a life, and we're very lucky that next to us is someone who's done that.
Now, Ricky, you yourself are a donor, and you came forward after a friend's mother unfortunately had leukemia. How did you go about doing that?
Well, it happened 7 years ago. There was a campaign for my friend's mother to find a match for her. It was all over university. So I live in Birmingham, but the actual campaign was down in Croydon. So a few of us travelled 3.5 hours to get there. And we joined the register, just as we've mentioned just now. And, as we all joined, problem was, a few months later, she unfortunately passed away. And that's the shocking reality of it, that, you know, without any donors on the register, that's what can happen.
But you then went on to become a donor, is that right? Because,
that's right,
so you joined initially to try and help your friend's mum out, and, you know, God's will, that wasn't to be. But then you were contacted by somebody completely different who you were a match for.
Absolutely. 3 years later, I had never thought about the charity or donorship at all. And 3 years later, I got a letter in the post to suggest that I was a possible match. So I thought, a possible match. So
were you a bit worried when you first got that? Because I think a lot of our viewers, and I'd like to come back to you about that in a minute, about what's actually involved. But were you worried when you first got there? Did you think, oh my God, I'm going to have to give up a part of my body, or I'm going to have to do something?
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're first excited that you could possibly save somebody's life. Yeah. But also, you know, you're quite worried because you have no clue about the operation. And especially when you explain it to, you know, older members of the family. I've never really had a serious problem going to hospital, but now I'm volunteering myself into an operation, so they're a bit like, what's all that about?
They're asking which bits they're going to chop off.
Absolutely, yeah. So they think it's painful. I'm going to have to take time off work, and so that's the problem.
It's true, isn't it? Words like blood, marrow, donor. These are scary, frightening words. Who wants to be in that situation? But the truth is that for 90% of people who do become a donor, it's sort of an extended blood transfusion, like giving blood. Yeah. It's that simple an experience. I mean, that's when you go stem cells.
That's right, yeah. Because there are two ways. There's the bone marrow and the stem cells, and that's what I done. The stem cells was simply, I sat on a bed and they run 2 tubes through my wrists. And I sat there watching cricket for 4 hours. That's as simple as that.
And yet you managed to save somebody's life.
And by doing that, I saved someone's life. And it was that simple. There was no pain. I was told once a procedure was done that I might have flu-like symptoms, but in reality, I went home, met my friends, and I played Sunday League football the next day.
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, it was that easy.
Now, such an inspiring story.
But Asif, let's come to you. Now, this Fit to Spit campaign, what's that all about?
Well, what we're trying to do is right a wrong, and Anthony Nolan is dedicated to making sure that every person who is diagnosed with a blood cancer will find a match. And we've got this imbalance at the moment between the possibility of finding a match if you're white Northern European and if you've got Asian extraction. So it started at the back end of 2012, but there's a big push going on now to make sure that Asians have a the chance that we all deserve if, God forbid, we are diagnosed or someone in our family is diagnosed. I mean, right now, we're actually producing quite a lot of material and we're getting out there in front of Asian groups around the country. We're producing a TV ad, which is in post-production at the moment, which Ricky's in, and Aneesa as well.
That's it, right, Aneesa. We're really pushing her campaign.
Aneesa is who?
She's a young 16-year-old girl. She actually lives 2 minutes away from me in Birmingham.
Right.
And she is looking for a blood donor.
So she's looking for one at the moment.
Wow.
Right now.
Look, I mean, what's involved? I mean, it's called Fit to Spit. I mean, if people are sitting at home now and saying, well, I don't know, what do they actually have to do if they want to become a registered potential donor?
As is the case with everything these days, it starts with 3 W's, doesn't it? Yeah. But if you go to www.anthonynolan.org or Google Anthony Nolan, you go to the website and you can apply, you can register, and then they'll send you a spit kit in the post. Easiest thing in the world to do, spitting. Send it back, and then they will notify you if you've been registered.
So it's literally just get it in the post. Literally, just put a small saliva sample in that, screw it up back in the
Simple
post.
as that.
That's simple.
Couldn't be easier. Really.
And I'd say you might not get them. You might never find. There might never be a match for you. This is the complexity of the challenge, which is why it's really a numbers game. And hopefully, as part of this campaign, and with people like Ricky who've done fantastic work saving lives, we'll all be able to see the opportunity we've got and the responsibility, I think, to ourselves as well. We've been through a lot more in this country. We've done a lot more as Asians and with our parents and, dealt with a lot of struggles. So I think this is a struggle that hopefully people, 16 to 30 is the target right now, because the younger you are, the more likely you are with fitness and health.
Well, I mean, I was looking at some of the statistics. You're saying that you're looking in the next few weeks to get another 3,000 people from Asian background. That's right, isn't it?
That's right.
I mean, I'm appealing to our viewers out there. I really think that Living the Life Islam channel, Islam channel stands up for so many noble causes. And I think our Living the Life viewers, we have many more than 3,000 viewers. I really think you guys can do that. Anthony Nolan Trust, get on the website, get a small thing, spit into it. You could save somebody's
and they're
life.
looking for people aged 18 to 30, I believe.
18 to 30. We've got a massive demographic amongst our viewers of people like that. I really hope that you get a good response.
We just done a campaign yesterday at De Montfort University in Leicester, and that was pretty much our first campaign, and we broke a British record by getting 366 people in a matter of a few hours. So, thanks to the people of
Well, do stay with
Manchester
us. We're going to
University.
come back to you very shortly. But for now, we're moving on. Well, have you ever thought about what your dream home may look like? Huge mansions with lots of bedrooms,